No one in my family wanted the house, not even for free. That should have been enough. But my grandfather left it to me anyway, said I'd understand eventually. I thought it was just family drama, old grudges, nothing real, until I moved in and found the list he left behind. Every name on it crossed out, except mine. My name's Tyler Bennett, 27. I work freelance construction, so when my grandfather passed and left me a house, I didn't question it much. It made sense. I'm the only one in the family who actually knows how to fix things. Everyone else lives out of state, or just didn't want the responsibility. That's what I told myself. The house is in rural Kentucky, about 20 minutes from the nearest town. Old place, built in the late 70s. Wood siding, wraparound porch. It looks normal from the outside. Maybe a little worn, but nothing unusual. The weird part was the reaction. When I told my mom I was moving in, she went quiet, didn't argue, didn't try to talk me out of it, just said, "Don't stay in the back bedroom." That was it. No explanation. I asked why. She just shook her head. Just don't. That should have meant something. It didn't. I figured it was something personal. Maybe that's where he died. People get weird about that. The move itself was easy. I brought the basics, bed, tools, a few boxes. The house was mostly empty. My grandfather had already cleared things out before he passed. Or someone did. Hard to tell. First day, nothing strange. Second day, same. Quiet. Peaceful even. I started fixing small things, loose cabinet hinges, flickering light in the hallway. Normal work. The back bedroom was at the end of the hall, door closed. I left it alone. Not because I believed anything, just no reason to open it yet. On the third day, I found the list. It was in the kitchen, taped inside one of the cabinets, hidden. Not something you'd notice unless you were looking. Old paper, folded once. I opened it. It was a list of names, family names, uncles, cousins, even my mother's name. All crossed out, neatly, one line through each, except mine, at the bottom. Tyler Bennett, not crossed out, underlined, twice. I stood there for a while, trying to figure out what it meant. Maybe it was about the will, who refused the house. That made sense. That was normal. I folded it back up, put it in my pocket, told myself I'd ask someone later. That night, I heard the first sound. From the hallway, a soft creak, like a door shifting. I checked the time, 2:11 a.m. I remember that because it felt familiar. I got up, walked to the hallway. Everything looked normal, all doors closed, except one, the back bedroom, the one my mom mentioned. It was open, just slightly. I was sure I hadn't touched it. I stood there, looking at it, trying to come up with something normal. Old houses shift, doors move, that happens. I told myself that. Then I noticed something else. At the bottom of the door, a mark, thin, scratched into the wood, like something had been dragged across it, back and forth, over and over, right where the door meets the floor. I stepped closer, without meaning to, like I needed to see it up close, and that's when I heard it. From inside the room, a voice, low, familiar, my grandfather's, calm, like he was just in the next room, saying, "You took too long." I didn't answer him. I didn't move either. I just stood there, looking at the door, slightly open. The hallway felt smaller somehow, like it had closed in around me. I told myself it wasn't his voice. It couldn't be. He was gone. I saw him in the hospital. I was there. That made sense. That was real. The voice came again. Same tone, same calm. "You're the last one." I felt that pressure in my chest, because I knew what he meant, the list, everyone else, crossed out. I stepped back, away from the door. That felt like the right move. Distance. Space. That's how you deal with things like this. You don't get closer. You don't engage. You leave. I went back to my room, locked the door, sat on the edge of the bed, waiting, listening. Nothing happened after that. No footsteps, no movement, just silence. I stayed awake until morning. When the sun came up, everything felt normal again. Quiet. Safe. I almost convinced myself it didn't happen, that I imagined it. That's easier. It always is. I went into the kitchen, made coffee, tried to settle into routine. That's how you fix things. You normalize them, make them smaller. I took the list out of my pocket, opened it again, looked at the names. Still the same, still crossed out, except mine. I don't know why, but I grabbed a pen from the counter, stared at my name, and for a second, I thought about crossing it out. Just to see what would happen, just to test it. That was a mistake, because I don't remember deciding to do it. My hand just moved. The pen touched the paper, started to drag across my name, slow, careful, like someone else was guiding it. Halfway through, I stopped, pulled my hand back. The line was incomplete, my name, half crossed out. I stared at it, waiting. Nothing happened, no sound, no voice, just silence. That should have been a relief. It wasn't, because something felt wrong, like I'd interrupted something I wasn't supposed to. I folded the paper, put it back in my pocket, told myself I'd leave the house, get some air, clear my head. That was the plan. I grabbed my keys, walked to the front door, opened it, stepped outside. The air felt normal, fresh, cold. I stood on the porch for a minute, just breathing, trying to reset. Then I turned back toward the house, just to check. And I saw him, standing in the hallway, at the end, in the doorway of the back bedroom, watching me. Same clothes, same posture, my grandfather, exactly as I remember him. He didn't move, didn't wave, just stood there, looking at me. Then slowly, he looked down at his hand, and I followed his gaze, because I knew what he was looking at. The list, still in my pocket, still unfinished. I reached in, pulled it out. I unfolded it. My name. It wasn't half crossed out anymore. It was clean. Perfect. A single line through it, just like the others. I looked back up. He was gone. The hallway empty again. That should have meant something was over. That's what I wanted to believe, until I turned the paper over and saw a new name, written at the bottom in his handwriting. Careful, precise, underlined, twice. And it wasn't anyone in my family. It was someone I didn't recognize, followed by my address. I stood there staring at it, trying to understand what that meant, trying to figure out why someone else would be tied to this place. Then I noticed something else, under the address, indented slightly, like it had been added after. A second line, same handwriting, same pressure. Already inside,